And then there's the next generation. Kaya Saariaho is a remarkable composer whose concept of harmony is primarily textural and very spectral. One of those composers I warned you we were going to talk about when we were talking about power chords. Spectral is a special word in music and represents a whole movement in composition where composers would listen to sounds, analyze them in detail, figure out their physical harmonic spectrum, and then manipulate and play with those sounds and sometimes reorchestrate them. Saariaho herself deliberately cuts herself off from the past. There are no nostalgic evocations of former voice leading techniques here. Rather, she wants to rub sound fabrics against each other. And here, in an early piece of hers called Verblendungen, she seems to make her harmonic note choices very deliberately create those textures that she wants to rub against each other. I mean, look how she does this. Remember that long ago discussion about low thirds and how you had to really intend to use them? Well, hold my beer, says Saariaho. I give you the low half step and then lots of other closely voiced half steps. Why? Because it produces interference patterns that not only make this fabric come alive, but that also help it blend, or Verblendungen with the electronic tape. Huh? Electronic tape? Yes, she provides her own tape recording with a rough notation in the score, and it's very worthwhile to hear what she says about this piece. The total plan for the use of time in the piece is based on the idea that the orchestra and the tape are moving in opposite directions with respect to the tone-to-noise axis. The piece starts with a thick orchestral tutti, which is first hidden and then shaded by the noise on the tape. During the piece, the orchestral coloring is transformed into instrumental noises, which, before withering away, shade the quasi-string orchestra on the tape. I'm searching for intersections not only vertically and horizontally on the time axis. Hey, that's what we've been doing, right? Vertical, horizontal axis. But check it out. She goes on. She, like a lot of other 20th century composers, thought there had to be more than that way of thinking about harmony, sound, and color. So, not only the vertical and the horizontal on the time axis. And she goes on. But also in the direction of depth, as if the sounds were organized in thick layers in a three-dimensional perspective, starting from dry, grainy sounds in front and moving towards smooth, resonant ones. And then, I don't know, because she's Finnish, she adds dazzling different surfaces, tissues, textures, weights, gravity, to be blinded, interpolations, reflections, death, the sum of independent worlds, shading, refracting the color. Yeah, yikes. What on earth is this doing in a unit about basic harmonization, I hear you ask? You know, hanging out, talking about the sum of independent worlds, the usual. Seriously. Or should I say, theoretically. What enables her to do this is her very fine sense of voicing. Not just her harmony choice, but where in the vertical harmony she spreads these notes out. That's how her imaginative sense of technique flourishes here. If we look back at our Venn diagram of those three old styles, classical jazz, Renaissance, and classical tonally functional music, this kind of spectral music still intersects somewhere, somehow, in some dimension, at that voice-leading center. And here's a little secret. That's why we started this whole adventure talking about melodies, because melodic principles, of course, inform the voice leading. And voice leading is everywhere. And Kaya Saariaho, she knows her voice leading. A random collection of noisy notes or a more vertically spread out, fewer adjacent half-step voicings of the same chord, it just simply wouldn't work as well and wouldn't effect as wondrous a handoff between the artificial and natural sound worlds that she is after. Oh, and also, for blending, sorry about that joke, it doesn't mean blending in German, it means delusions, like the ones you have about music theory. It doesn't exist, you know. Music theory, it doesn't exist. There's just music.